ever stopped and wondered about something strange in everyday life? For example, milk. Every day, millions of people pour milk into cereal, coffee, tea, or drink it straight from a glass. But if you really think about it for a moment, it raises a very unusual question. At some point in human history, someone looked at a cow and thought, maybe I should drink that. And that raises a bigger mystery. Who was the first person to drink milk from a cow? Why did they try it? And how did they even know it was safe? Because unlike fruits or grains, milk doesn't grow on a tree. It comes from an animal. Yet today, milk and dairy products are some of the most widely consumed foods on Earth. Humans drink milk from cows, goats, sheep, buffalo, and even camels. So how did this unusual idea begin? Today on How Did That Happen, we're going to explore the fascinating story behind one of humanity's most surprising discoveries, the story of milk. Started drinking milk, we first need to go back thousands of years to the earliest human societies. For most of human history, people were hunter-gatherers. They survived by hunting animals, fishing, and gathering wild plants, fruits, nuts, and seeds. Milk was not part of their daily diet. In fact, drinking animal milk would have been almost impossible because humans had not yet domesticated animals. Domestication means raising animals for food, labor, or other resources. This began around 10,000 years ago during the Neolithic Revolution, when humans started farming and forming permanent settlements. Instead of constantly moving in search of food, people began raising animals like goats, sheep, cattle. At first, these animals were mainly used for meat, hides, and labor. But eventually, humans discovered something incredibly valuable. These animals could provide food without being killed. And that food was milk. The earliest animals humans domesticated for milk were probably goats and sheep, not cows. Archaeological evidence suggests that goats were domesticated in the Middle East about 10,000 years ago. Sheep were domesticated around the same time. Cattle were domesticated slightly later, around 8,000 to 9,000 years ago, in regions that are now modern-day Turkey and the Near East. These early farmers noticed something important. Female animals produced milk after giving birth to their young. Originally, that milk was meant for baby animals. But humans realized they could take some of that milk for themselves. At first, this may have happened by accident. Early farmers observing animals closely may have experimented with milking them. And once they tasted it, they discovered something remarkable. Milk was nutritious, rich in fat, and full of energy. For farming communities, this was a huge advantage. Instead of slaughtering an animal for food, they could keep it alive and receive milk regularly. But here's something fascinating. Most humans originally could not digest milk properly. Milk contains a sugar called lactose. To digest lactose, the body needs an enzyme called lactase. Babies naturally produce lactase so they can digest their mother's milk. But in most ancient human populations, lactase production stopped after childhood. That means adults who drank milk often experienced stomach pain or digestive problems. So how did milk become such a popular food? The answer lies in fermentation. Early farmers discovered that milk left out over time would naturally turn into products like cheese, yogurt, butter. These foods contained much less lactose, making them easier for adults to digest. In fact, some of the earliest known cheeses date back over 7,000 years. Archaeologists have even discovered ancient cheese residue on pottery from early farming communities. So it's possible that humans began consuming cheese and yogurt before regularly drinking fresh milk. Something incredible happened later in human history. Some populations developed a genetic mutation that allowed them to continue producing lactase into adulthood. This condition is known as lactase persistence. People with this mutation could digest milk without problems, and this gave them a major survival advantage. Milk is rich in calcium, protein, fat, vitamins. In regions where food could be scarce, being able to drink milk meant having a reliable source of nutrition year-round. Over generations, this genetic trait spread among populations that depended heavily on dairy. Today, lactase persistence is common in Northern Europe, some African pastoral communities, parts of the Middle East. However, many people around the world are still lactose intolerant, meaning they cannot easily digest milk. This shows how closely human biology and agriculture evolved together. As farming societies expanded, milk and dairy products became important parts of many cultures. In ancient Mesopotamia, dairy products were widely consumed. In ancient Egypt, milk was used in cooking and religious rituals. Ancient Egyptians even associated milk with fertility and life. In India, milk became deeply connected to religion and culture. Hindu traditions consider cows sacred, and dairy products like ghee and yogurt are essential parts of traditional cuisine. In Central Asia, nomadic groups relied heavily on milk from animals like horses, camels, and goats. They even created fermented drinks such as kumis, made from horse milk. Milk became not just food, but a cultural and economic resource. Today, milk is produced on an enormous global scale. The largest milk-producing countries include India, the United States, China, Brazil, Germany. Modern dairy farming uses advanced technology to manage large herds of cattle and produce milk efficiently. Milk is processed into a wide variety of foods including cheese, yogurt, butter, ice cream. The global dairy industry is worth hundreds of billions of dollars. And it all began with ancient farmers experimenting with animals thousands of years ago. So who was the first person to drink cow milk? The truth is, we may never know their name. It likely wasn't one person. Instead, it was probably many early farmers across different regions experimenting with animals they had domesticated. What we do know is that this discovery changed human history. Milk provided a renewable food source that helped sustain growing populations. It influenced agriculture, culture, genetics, and even the evolution of human biology. All because someone, somewhere, decided to try something unusual. They looked at an animal and wondered, what happens if I drink that? And just like that, a new chapter in human history began. If you enjoyed this episode of How Did That Happen, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications, because next time we'll explore another fascinating mystery of everyday life. Like, who discovered bread? Or who was the first person brave enough to eat an egg? Until next time, stay curious.